Hello everybody. Today we will be painting a Space Marine in a very simple scheme. Nothing too crazy. We'll be starting with Macragge Blue. Then we'll do a little bit of the Retributor armor. It's a nice gold color. And then Leadbelcher. It's a nice gunmetal silver color. Alright, so always remember to give your paints a good shake before you use them. I already did this off camera, so not to make the whole video shaky. Then you want to get a little bit of paint on your brush. Just a little bit. Put it on your palette like so. Then take your brush, dip it into your water. And see how there's a little drop of water here? We don't want that much water, so we'll just take it off of there. We mix it into our paint that's on the palette. See how it's still sticking and not running all the way down? That's about the consistency we want. Now it's running a little bit and that's fine, that's perfect. But not too runny. So then we'll take our miniature and let's get any extra paint off first. And we'll just start painting it like a crazy person. Now, as you see, the paint doesn't fully cover the black in one coat, and that's okay. That's what we want. We want to have it nice and thin so we don't lose any of those really cool details. Now we can just go back and get a little more as our brush starts to lose the paint. Almost dropped it. It's okay. He's a Space Marine. He's got tough armor. He can handle it. But we want to get it all over this miniature. I know some veteran painters out there that would cringe at the way I am treating this brush right now. But it's okay. It's not one of my nice fancy brushes. This is just for base coating. As you can see, we're getting it all over. I want to make sure cover every bit of that black primer that we got on there. Alright. Oh, don't want to forget the gun. Cool. And that will about do it for the first coat. All nice covered. Still can see a lot of the black, but that's okay. We're going to come back in a few after I let this dry for a couple minutes and do another coat. And you'll see a lot better results here in just a minute. Alright, as you can see, still a little wet here and there, but that's okay. It's mostly dry. So we're going to go back in and do another coat. Try and get everywhere nice and covered again. Doesn't have to be any particular fancy strokes for painting. Just cover every little bit of this guy. There we go. He's looking good. Now, the paint in my palette has run out. So I'm going to get some more. Set that down. Nice little shake, always. Don't need as much this time. Always get a little bit of water. Doesn't have to be much. But you want to thin your paint just a little bit. So that way, it doesn't glob up and look like that. It's a little too thin, actually. So what you do, when it's too thin and has too much water, just add a little more paint. No big deal. No big deal. Get all that excess paint off the brush there. And then, there. Hey, we fixed it. Now, see how there's a little eye here? We want to try and make sure not too much paint gets in there, because otherwise we'll lose all that cool detail. And let's get a little more paint on the brush, but not too much. Don't forget to paint his shoes. It's got to match. Nice uniform. As you can see, he's coming along quite nicely. Getting that good old standard Space Marine blue. Now you can do this with any color you like. I'm just using blue because it's kind of a popular color for these guys. Just whatever color you pick for the main one. Make sure it's the color you like, because you'll be using it a lot. Alright, that about does it for the blue, so we're going to go ahead and let him dry for a few minutes, and I'll be back again. Also, anytime you go to take a break, always remember, clean your brush. Use the water and then our wonderful friend napkin here. And try your best to not get any of the paint up into here. You don't really want to get paint anywhere past the halfway mark on any brush. Just helps make the brush last longer. I've ruined many brushes learning this the hard way. Alright, so for our next color, we're going to go ahead and do the gold. And we're going to use the smaller brush because we don't want that to go everywhere. Just like before, get a nice little bit on your brush. Put it in a different spot than where you started with the blue, because you don't want them to mix together. Get just a little bit of water. As you can see, it's about to drip off of there. It's a little too much. So we just use our napkin. And there. Now with the gold, we're going to get the little wings on his chest here. Nice and careful like. And it's okay if you get it on the gun, because we're going to paint that silver here in just a few. See, not everybody's perfect. You got silver or gold on that gun there. And then we'll be able to fix that up in just a few when we paint the silver over it. Then I'm also going to paint the trim of the shoulder pads here. Now the way I do it, as you can see, I try to just barely touch it with the side of the brush. Now sometimes I make mistakes like, oops, something like that. That's okay. We can go back over it with the blue. And sometimes when it's still wet, you can just take your finger to it, rub it off a little, and then go back over it with the blue. No big deal. So, just go nice and easy, no big rush. When you get in too big of a rush, that's when mistakes happen. And boom, see? Shoulder pad done. Now for the next one. Go nice and slow. I know you're all excited and you want to get your miniatures out there on the table, but if you just take that little bit of time, we'll have our 3-color tabletop standard in no time. It's nice and easy. Okay. And if you can't reach every little spot, like right up in there, whatever, doesn't have to be perfect. And then I like to paint a little skull on the back, a little bit of gold too, just for that extra flair. And then there we go. All done with the gold for now. We'll come back and maybe do that skull another time. Don't forget, always clean your brush. I'll be back in just a minute while this dries. Okay, time for the final color. Our gunmetal lead belcher color. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use the little brush again. And just get a nice little chunk of paint on there. Maybe not as much so you don't get it up into the top of the brush here like I always seem to do. And again, put it in a different spot than your other 2 colors so they don't get mixed up. And then get just a little bit of water. Mix it in there. Looks like there's a little too much, so we'll just dry the brush off, no big deal, because our paint's already on here. And we'll load up the brush. If it looks like there's too much paint, just wipe it on an edge of something or use your napkin. And here we go. We're going to paint the gun entirely in this nice silver color. Now remember, don't be shy. If you accidentally hit a spot that you didn't want to be silver, we're going to come back and fix those. Just like right here on his shoulder pad. And on the jetpack, we'll fix those here in just a few. And as I was saying, on the gun here, where it got gold on there, just painting right over that. Boom, gone. Never happened. No proof. Except for this video. Well, that's okay. You guys won't tell, right? Because that's just not nice. Anyway. Gun finished. Oh, nope. I fibbed. Almost finished. Almost finished. And always, when you're getting paint for your brush, twist it. It'll help give it a little bit of a point. As long as you don't ruin the brush like I always do. I'm terrible with this. Now if you want, you can paint other parts this silver color. Like the backs of the legs, inside the jetpacks. But this is all we're going to do for now, because we're trying to keep it simple. A nice 1, 2, 3 colors. Alright, I'm going to give that a minute to dry. And I'll be right back and we'll fix up our little spots that need tidying. Alright guys, last but not least, we're going to tidy this guy back up with a little bit of blue. And we can go ahead and put that in the same spot as the last blue, because it's the same color. So it's not a big deal if it mixes, right? Right. I need a little more paint in there. I got too much water. It's okay though, it happens. There we go. And just get that extra paint off, because we don't need a whole lot for this part. Just need a little bit, not too much. Let me go back over this spot here on the shoulder pad. We go a little bit past where we messed up too, just to help it blend in. So when it dries, it looks like it was meant to be like that the whole time. Same with on his jetpack there. Just go ahead and paint right over top. Boom. It's gone. Never happened. Oh, looks like there's a little spot right there. Boom. Nice and easy. And that's it. There's our first Space Marine. Nice, simple, nothing crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back again another day for even more in-depth tutorials.